what do you do with the line? You try to work around it. Now the sail itself, that's harder, because if you can't see through the sail, whoa, I mean, 1 and 2 o'clock just don't exist. But we are on port tack, so we got to do something because we don't have right of way. So what you do is you just, in that case, you just call it on the other side of the sail. Heck, it's easy there that way. At least you called it something, but evidently if you can't see it, it's not there. So you gotta work around. You gotta work with these things. There are a lot of ways to get to the same place, is what I'm trying to say. So when you're steering, for instance, and something's directly in back of you, aft, you want to say it's at 6 o'clock, but if you're steering the boat and you move the helm over to this side, it's really going to be, say, a few minutes past 6 or a few minutes before 6 o'clock. Well, I don't know. You got to use your judgment, really. You got to remain flexible about the whole thing. So, one thing you want to watch out for, I mean really watch out for, is this thing. Now, this is aptly named the boom. Oh, you get a view along what's called the leeward rail. There's windward and there's leeward. This is called the leeward or low side of the boat, by virtue of the fact that the wind is hitting the other side and pushing the boat down. Now, the reason the boat doesn't flip over is because it's got 2,000 pounds of lead underneath it. 2,500 in this case. Half the weight of the boat is a lead keel under it. Very, very hard to flip. Now, if you get up on top of the mast, it's not so hard. You get a lot of leverage up there where gravity wants you. So the larger the boat, the less effect you have on top of the mast. Now the higher the sail, the more the wind has an effect on the mast. You want to keep your sails low. Now, on the masthead, you have what's called a wind direction indicator. That's a very, generally speaking, very reliable, accurate way of judging where the wind is coming from in relation to your boat. In this case, the wind is coming from, about 10:30, or in direction southeast, which we'll get into later. Reached a point now where we could go into some maneuvers on the good ship Eloquence. Some do's and don'ts. You try to maintain a straight course, pick a place if you can see land, and use that as a vantage point or reference point to keep the boat from zigzagging. And in maneuvers, I think I've explained to you, there's a maneuver called coming about, where you bring the boat's nose into the wind. And coming about is fun, simple, no problem, usually. Sometimes a line might catch and you might have to run up on the foredeck and free it. And then of course there's jibing, which we'll get into later when we're a little bit more experienced. So as I was saying, you want to maintain control of the vessel, control of yourself. This requires at all times attention on the part of the helmsman to assure the safety of the crew, and you just try to, you don't want any surprises. That's the one thing you really try to avoid, is a surprise, because somebody could get hurt. No, I'm just checking the motor here. Just make sure everything's in order. You want to make sure everything is just ship-shape. And, okay, I guess the motor looks okay. Okay. Now I'm going to show you jibing. Maybe we'll get into jibing later. Boy, guess you don't want to be too distracted by anything. Just try to keep it, you know, it's called steady as you go. It's maintain your course, steady as you go. You've heard it in the movies. It's a term, you know, just maintains, takes practice to be a good helmsman. You know, once you got it down, though, you can pretty much relax. As I've mentioned in the past, it's very important to keep your eyes open, peeled, everywhere, at all times, to avoid a collision at sea. These are familiar waters. There's less chance of hazards in familiar waters because you're familiar with them. So you don't have to worry too much, but you do still. You have to keep your eyes open. The main thing that you'd worry about is there's supposed to be a channel marker around here somewhere. It's the chart. I happen to know from memory that it's a green can, but we should be well, you know what? I bet those idiots, they probably didn't put a big enough anchor on it, and the thing floated away. Like they say up in Vermont, if you don't like the weather, just stay put. It'll change. The weather's changed in the sense that the wind has disappeared. We've got maybe 2 or 3 knot current trying to drag us back to Sag Harbor, where we just left, and barely enough wind to be passing, to be really going anywhere. So it's very, very light. Good wind for, say, I don't know, for a motorboat. So what you do in this situation here is, you're a real sailor, and you know, you go do things by the book and the old school is, oh, hell with it, I'm putting the motor down. Okay, this is how you start the motor. You flip the switch here to down, and you click it, and it goes down part of the way. Try to remember, that's not the end of the operation. You got one more click to go down. You try to keep your fingers out of the way of the gear and everything. You one more click to go down here. You do this very, very, very gently, because you don't want to lose the motor into the water. Well, you could hang on to the handle if it happened, but well, we just try to avoid that. So don't let it down too fast, or you could lose the motor. Okay. Oh, geez, you know, traveling with the dog. The dog. Oh boy, the dog's got to go again. I can't believe it. We just left Sag Harbor. Why can't this dog go when it's supposed to go? Oh, not again. God, sorry, I'm going to do something about this dog. You know, I'll tell you, we got to get some AstroTurf or something, put it on the deck. This is... Go. I'll dip you again. Go on forward. Go on. Hey, get back up in the 4-peak. Okay. All right. It's just distractions. So we got the motor down. God, if it was a bigger dog, I have to hook him up in a harness or something. It's a good thing. You try not to have big dogs. Dogs are all right. Keep them small. You keep it up, and you're going. I'm going to tow you by your tail. Yeah, you forgot, huh? Look. Look. Okay. Get back. Go on. Good dog. Go back up in the 4P. Okay, so you. As a matter of fact, the wind's picked up a gnat's ass, and you can. I think we can maybe avoid using the motor temporarily. This sailor up here has gone ahead of us now, and the wind might be starting to kick in a little bit here. I think we've got a little. You know, one thing I haven't seen around since we left Sag Harbor is the cat. I know that we walked him on the Long Wharf, but I don't remember bringing him back on board. You know, now come to think of it, we did leave him on the Long Wharf.